Well, good afternoon. This is Travis Clardy, president of THCA. Glad to be back with you for another weekend review for the week of February 24th. Today being, I cannot believe this, February 28th, the last day of the month of February. We're already 2 months in to calendar year 2025. It seems like we just had the ball go down. So that's, I guess, the way life is, and certainly life around the Capitol. Hopefully you can see behind us the beautiful pink dome of the Texas Capitol, somewhat obscured by the continuing roofing project that they have going on over there. They've been working feverishly on this. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek because it's been going on for over 2 years and several months still to go. So big roof and a lot of unique materials. So hopefully we'll have that done before too long, but it is looking good and it is coming along. But the Capitol is open and alive and well, and progress is being made. So things to catch you up in as we get the show started, and thank you for being here. I've got a couple sisters in the room, and I hope somebody's going to be monitoring the activity. If you have a question or thought or concern, certainly shoot that in, and I will do my best to address it on our program. We're going to be pretty quick today because of the relative lack of formal activity, but trust me, in an informal walk in the halls, this has been a very, very busy week at the Capitol. So I've got my sleeves rolled up, paper spread everywhere, and trying to reconstitute what we got done and what we need to do next week. But let me hit a couple of highlights with you. Committees are meeting. Next week will be the first meeting of the Human Services Committee in the Texas House. This week we had a hearing Wednesday in Article 2, which is the healthcare section of the Texas budget in the Texas House, with our chairman there, a new chairman on this, but she is doing a great job, Angela Orr from Hillsborough, and then met with her subsequently on our issues with THCA and where we're going with that. So they've been making a lot of progress there, but she ran 2 meetings, first with HHSC and other invited testimony Wednesday. We had folks come in and testify. I was very pleased and proud to have one of our own show up there. It had Leslie Cunningham Campbell from our good friends at Touchstone come up from San Antonio. Thankfully, she didn't stay there all night because I think the hearing went on until 10 o'clock, but we were able to get Leslie up, and she explained to the committee and to Chairman Orr the necessity of raising the funding that allows us to provide the quality of care that our residents in Texas at our nursing homes so richly deserve. And so went through and had very cogent testimony. We'll be putting that up. I really would like for all of you to see that, and hopefully we can have more of you come and tell our story to your members in the weeks to come. We started the week with 2 groups came in and worked the Capitol with their delegation and their work from HMG and Touchstone. Appreciate all of you that made the effort to be here. You got great reports from the members that had you. They're always happy to see friendly faces from back home. So we will be coordinating more of that in the future, but it's going to be happening more because now the committees are meeting. They're rolling up their sleeves and getting ready to work. Bills will be filed, several next week, including Lord willing, our 3 legislative lift priorities, dealing with the Medicaid provider at risk qualified eligibility, also dealing with the IDR process and ending the double dipping duplicative penalties from the feds and the state, which we've heard a lot about, and then also streamlining the change of ownership process, the CHOW process with HHSC. I was supposed to be at earlier this morning. I met with my old senator and good friend Robert Nichols in his office. We talked a lot about the behaviorally complex challenges we're facing with the aging population and why the pilot program that we're pushing and supporting to do that in our nursing homes is so important to get funded. He, of course, sits on the Senate. I see my good friend and counsel, Gavin Gadberry, calling. I hate to not take my lawyer's call, but I don't think I'm going to do it while I'm here. Judy, are you watching the show? I'm a little concerned maybe we're not going out live and we have no audio, and that technician walked away. So I'm going to keep rambling here for a second until he shows back up in the room. I'm going to cross my fingers, and Gavin, shoot me a text if you're watching this with what you have. But in any event, we're going to keep rolling here. Just that's the way a session goes. For those of you that have not been at a committee hearing or watched action on the floor of the House or the Senate, there are no timeouts or breaks or lunch breaks or anything else. Okay, good. Looks like we are coming through. But it just keeps rolling. The clock doesn't stop and the sun doesn't set, and you go from can to can, and you go till you hear all the witnesses. It's important for people to be heard on these issues, and particularly in a committee like Human Services, where you hear these heart-rending stories of how policy can affect people on a very personal and real basis. And so it's a very difficult committee from an emotional standpoint, but we have some really members on there that are dedicated to it and care deeply about how people are treated in Texas. And so and that certainly applies to our elderly population. And again, appreciate Senator Nichols and his staff time to meet with us this morning about the pilot program and hopefully move that forward quickly. So, and then, but I was supposed to meet with our Commissioner Cecily Young of the HHSC, but they got called into duty to testify before a different group, and so they came over, rescheduling that with former Commissioner Chris Traylor, who's one of our outside consultants, and a longtime friend of mine. When I say long time, I mean going back to 5th grade. We're so old, they've actually torn down the elementary school we started at in Lubbock, Texas, that was new when we went there. We actually have outlived a brand new school building in Texas. So Chris, go way back. We'll get that line back up next week and hopefully be able to report on that. But again, the committees are meeting. We're going to be calling all of you out and again, just making tasks for when we need to have other groups come in to push these bills forward, and we appreciate your help there. We've made great progress on our committees. At the board meeting we had recently, we talked about how we have restructured our internal THCA committees to address new issues and kind of restructured leadership of those, and so more to come on that. And of course, we will also have our THCA, we call it a one-pager, front and back, simple is better, where we highlight a couple things. One is how we continue to fight the fight on the staffing mandate. I think I'll have very good news for this in the near future as the litigation, I think, comes to a decision point in federal court in Northern District of Texas in Amarillo, and how we're going to continue to fight this overreach and this federal mandate that just makes no sense and is untenable and would be catastrophic for really all of Texas, but particularly rural Texas. So we're tracking that. We'll have hopefully good news soon on that, on both the federal front under the Trump administration, but also from the federal court as well. I continue to work our priorities, and that's going well. And then, and again, when Leslie was here early this week, she testified about the need, and we're supporting an increase of the base rate for Medicaid, and I think we're getting good traction. I think people are beginning to realize how important it is as demographics change, as we see the population grow, and those key age cohorts that we see at our long-term care facilities, skilled nursing facilities, that's going to grow exponentially, that we are probably going to see a near doubling of that population in 10 years. So we can't wait around and start thinking about how do we solve staffing shortages or other issues, or make sure that we've funded operations, deal with the myriad of issues that you confront on a daily basis. So I'm optimistic. We can afford to be optimistic now, about 50 days into a 140-day schedule. So we're going to start the month of March next week. March 2nd or March the 3rd will be our day back again with committees. Members are coming back in. This is the time as a former member, you try to get home as much as you can because you know you're not going to be able to much really post-spring break. So with that in mind, I told you we'll keep this thing short for you. I do want to just highlight a couple of things, and again, the plan will be to be able to tell you about where our bills are, what committees they've been referred to, and then we will keep you updated on the timing of the hearings, et cetera. And that's really where I'm going to want some of y'all here in town, when you can show up and be in the gallery, be in the committee hearing rooms, be in those places and offer testimony from your experience. Because again, we need people in the trenches, in the real world, dealing with the challenges of providing quality long-term care in Texas, and they need to hear it from people that they know. So that'll be coming. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts. I think I've covered all of those other things. I could run down a list of all the meetings we've had, but your team in with THCA, inside and outside, has been doing yeoman's work, and I would think we probably had collectively a couple dozen meetings this week from all of them, governor's office, lieutenant governor's office, chairman's offices, key members' offices, and others. And we're going to continue. That's not going to slow down. That pace is going to continue to pick up. So there's always something to do to make sure we're taking care of business. So with that, I'll leave you with a couple of thoughts. That is, we'll talk about astronomy and the Lone Star. So this week, if for you astronomy bugs out there, don't forget you want to get outside tonight around sundown. Look to the southwest, and a little interesting phenomenon. All 8 planets are going to be grouped together above the horizon and visible to the naked eye. I think a few of those planets may not be that easy to see, but this is a kind of an unusual alignment of the stars. I think that's apropos for what we're doing here in Austin. We are hoping for that same alignment of the stars, and so far so good. I think things are coming together. We've got the right people in the right places. I think we've got the right agenda to push and the right people pushing it, and we'll bring all that together for a successful 89th legislative session. And so I will take tonight's astronomical demonstration in the southwest sky as an omen of goodwill and good fortune for us going forward. But the other star I want to talk about is the Great Lone Star. So Sunday is March the 2nd, and those of you who grew up here in Texas and went to 2nd and 5th and 7th grade Texas history lessons will remember full well that that is our birthday. That's our Texas Independence Day from Washington on the Brazos, when those patriots got together and declared independence from Mexico. And so that's going to be this Sunday. So not only will it be a great weekend, beautiful weather all over the state, but we start that Texas Independence Week. March the 6th will be the Alamo Day, the fall of the Alamo, where my namesake gave his life and fortune for the future of Texas. And so that's a date that all Texans hold dear, in the memory of that sacrifice. And so as we think about the Lone Star, and you go to church on Sunday and you think about what's happening out there, don't forget to say a prayer for those brave patriots and those who have gone before to make this place that we call home, that we're so proud to be in Texas and to be Texans. So on that note, I don't know where else to leave it any better. Let me just wish y'all all a great weekend. Get ready for next week. A week from today, we'll be doing another report, and I'm going to have a lot more meat on these bones. Been a lot of work, but we're going to start seeing it come to fruition. So until then, y'all have a great weekend. Happy Texas Independence Day. God bless Texas. God bless all of you. And we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.